Ah.
Mana? Absent lah yang video.
Apapun okey je.
Nak pasang
Bedak korang. Lipstick korang.
macam ni yang tengah cakap kan. Suara cik kopi tu kan.
Hello, testing. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3 1 2 3.
PRI
Start. Salam sejahtera. Selamat datang dan terima kasih. Saya ucapkan kepada para hadirin yang hadir pada hari ini bagi menyaksikan pembentangan kertas penyelidikan dalam persidangan pedagogi dan pendidikan guru PedaTEd 2025 Zon Utara. Sebelum itu, izinkan saya memperkenalkan diri terlebih dahulu. Saya Gopinath Sandra selaku moderator anda pada hari ini ditemani oleh Puan Nurul Nadia binti Tajuddin. Hadirin yang dihormati sekalian, syukur dan berterima kasih kerana kita dapat bersama-sama pada petang yang penuh bermakna ini bagi mengikuti slot pembentangan kertas penyelidikan dalam persidangan pedagogi dan pendidikan guru PedaTEd 2025 Zon Utara. Hadirin hadirat sekalian, persidangan ini menyediakan satu platform untuk ahli akademik, penyelidik, siswaza dan pelajar membentangkan kertas penyelidikan dalam bidang penyelidikan masing-masing. Di samping itu, persidangan ini turut memberi peluang kepada pembentang dan peserta untuk berkongsi dan bertukar idea dan pengalaman baharu serta mewujudkan rangkaian dan jaringan penyelidikan sebagai laluan menghadapkan kerjasama pada masa akan datang. Garis panduan pembentangan. Masa yang diperuntukkan 10 minit untuk sesi pembentangan, 5 minit untuk sesi soal jawab. Sebelum kita memulakan sesi pembentangan, izinkan saya memperkenalkan barisan panel penilai kita pada hari ini. Panel penilai pertama ialah Profesor Madya Dr. Latisha Asma Syafi'i, manakala panel penilai kedua ialah Puan Nurul Atika binti Muhammad Nuri. Setinggi-tinggi penghargaan dan ucapan terima kasih diucapkan kepada kedua-dua panel penilai kerana sudi meluangkan masa bersama kita bagi menilai dan memberi pandangan terhadap pembentangan kertas penyelidikan pada hari ini. Tanpa melengahkan masa, saya mempersilakan pembentang pertama yang akan disampaikan oleh Dr. Jaya Citra Muniswaran daripada IPG Kampus Tuanku Bainon dengan tajuk pembentangan Tips strategy to correct common grammar errors among sixth formers in a Chinese school. Dengan segala hormatnya, dipersilakan.
A very good day to the panel. The topic of my study is tip strategy to correct common grammar errors among sixth formers in a Malaysian Chinese school. Writing difficulties. Writing is definitely not an easy task. From the student's perspective, writing is difficult in terms of language issues that of course includes common grammatical errors. Apart from that, organizing their content in a writing is also a problem. Task fulfillment, coming up with the main ideas as well as supporting details is also another issue faced by students in writing. As for teachers, the issues faced include grading the essay scripts as well as giving appropriate feedback to the students who encounter these writing difficulties. Hence, writing is indeed a difficult skill as compared to the other three skills. In writing, students face a lot of problems like grammar, sentence structure, vocabulary, as well as organization. Grammatical error is repeatedly done by students, and this in turn, of course, affects their writing as well as English performance. Teachers do face difficulties in identifying and addressing persistent errors across multiple students' work. Students keep repeating these problems. Why? Because they are not aware of their recurring grammatical errors. Because of their lack of awareness, they are unable to self-correct themselves. Hence, they lack self-correction skills. And they are highly dependent on teachers' feedback only. Thus, these persistent errors keep recurring, affecting their task fulfillment, coherence, and accuracy in writing. So what has to be done? There must be a systematic approach. For what? To raise students' awareness on these common grammatical errors. How? By developing self-editing or self-correction skills to improve overall writing performance as well as language performance. So the focus of this study is writing and mainly to address common and persistent grammar errors, which definitely hinders writing performance. And in terms of Lev Vygotsky's theory, social constructivism theory, learning is a social process where individuals construct knowledge through interaction with others and their culture. Learning originates in social interactions before being internalized by the individual. Scaffolding is a key concept within this framework, referring to the temporary support provided by more knowledgeable other to a learner, whereby given in this tip strategy by the students who are more knowledgeable in grammar, supporting their friends who have problems. Let's look at these grammatical errors. They no need go to the hospital. Meet you on next Thursday. It is more easier than working part-time. Well, these sentences are commonly heard among Malaysian students. So how do we correct them? We need to create awareness among these students so that they are aware, they know that they are making mistakes and they are able to self-correct themselves in order to enhance their language proficiency and to improve their writing performance. So in this study, we have come up with 3 research questions to tackle the issue as well as to study the effectiveness of the TIP strategy, which is the intervention that is being employed. So the first research question, how much are students aware of their grammar errors in essay writing prior to TIP intervention? The second research question, does TIP help in reducing the common grammar errors in writing practices? And the third research question, how much are students aware of their grammar errors in essay writing after the TIP intervention? So a mixed methods exploratory sequential design was chosen for this study. So there are three phases in the study. The first phase, where the initial data was collected prior to improvising the design of TIP strategy. A semi-structured interview plus questionnaire was carried out in this first phase to collect the data to be able to come up with the best TIP strategy possible for phase 2. In phase 2, the TIP strategy is implemented. In this TIP strategy, 3 steps are taken into consideration. The first step is when the students are given an intensive grammar drill. Grammar drill is done based on the common grammatical errors, the topics that are identified by the researcher. Next, grammar-focused writing is conducted, whereby students are provided a checklist to self-correct and self-check their writing as they go by their writing process. Finally, the third step is when their essay is passed on to their friends to recheck if they had missed out on any grammatical errors. And here is where the constructivism theory comes in, when the knowledgeable other helps the friends who had probably overlooked the mistakes that they did not correct in the step 2. And finally, in phase 3, a post-intervention questionnaire as well as semi-structured interview is conducted to gain and gather data on students' experiences and reflections in the TIP strategy employed. So roughly, this is how the TIP strategy is employed using the 3 steps. Teach and drill, where grammar review and common error list is highlighted with an intensive grammar drill. In step 2, identify and apply, where students, upon a checklist given to them, they try to self-correct and self-check their own essay. And in step 3, their essays will be passed on to their peer to recheck if they had overlooked or they had failed to look at some of the errors that they had made. So this is the findings that is gathered from the study. In research question 1, 70% of the students claim that they are only average writers, and only 20% claim that they are good writers, whereas 10% claim that they are weak writers. And most of them claim that grammar and vocabulary is 80% of the problem in writing. They also mention that they lack confidence in writing as they fear making mistakes, and they're uncertain of whether they are doing it correctly or wrongly. Besides, they also claim that they lack time in checking, editing their work. They also lack focus and are unsure on what to actually correct. For research question 2, upon collection of their essay scripts prior to TIP strategy and after TIP strategy, it was noted that the mean score was indeed higher. Besides, the p-value of lower than 0.001 shows that TIP is definitely highly effective in improving grammar and writing performance. There is a significant difference between the writing scores with and without TIP. And for third strategy, students of course showed that a tip strategy was beneficial with a clear checklist provided for them, and they have a proper time management, plus they feel more optimistic in writing. So in short, in brief, tip is definitely beneficial for the students and in improving their language proficiency. Thank you.
Terima kasih diucapkan kepada pembentang pertama. Sekarang kita membuka sesi soal jawab. Dipersilakan.
Alright. Okay. So I'm not sure whether I should be the one or the second one. But tapi saya tanya, Dr. Jaya, congratulations, a very interesting presentation. I thought that it's a PhD punya, another PhD thesis, yeah? Right. So I just want to ask you this question. Did you undergo ethics? Was ethics required? I mean, do you have to go, for example, ethics, you have to submit to ethics committee?
For ethics, is it ethics that you're asking?
Yes. Yeah. Did you?
Okay. When the research was. Yes, I did get permission from the students who were involved in the study at that time, and I was teaching in the school.
All right.
When the data was collected.
All right, but did you have to undergo ethics approval from the committee or something like that? Some sort of ethics. I mean, if you're doing some sort, if you're doing a research, you've got to submit to ethics committee, right?
Okay, for IRAS meaning, is it?
Yes.
Okay, for this, because I was in the school at that time, so I did not really apply for that.
All right. So it's just that later on, this is just, okay, so this is a very good research. What do you plan to do with the research, with the results and so on?
Well, if it is really beneficial to the students, I would definitely suggest that other English language teachers employ it, maybe in phases, like especially in writing classes. So meaning like maybe even from the lower secondary school or even primary school per se, they could actually employ it, because identifying their errors is the main concern here. Students don't really know whether they are doing it right or wrong. So it's just not about drilling into them the grammar, but also getting them to understand when they are doing it wrongly. Because they can do it in isolated cases, but when it comes to context like writing, they find it difficult.
Yeah, I understand, because I think this is a very good project. It's a good research. So I think there would be, let's say, for example, there would be, might be you want to go for IP, I'm not sure, commercialize it, or might be something else. So that would be, how are you going to sustain this particular research finding, right? Or why I'm asking about ERAS and so on, because if you, let's say, if you want to publish in Q1 or Q2, we need to have ethics review, right? Let's say, for example, if you if you want to publish in, let's say, for example, some journals, they require ethics approval, right? So that's why I'm asking you about that one, right? I think that's all for me.
Okay.
Well done.
Yes, I understand.
Right. I expect greater things from you in the future. Right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not sure about the second, let's say, for example, is the second evaluator not, let's see.
Hello, hi. Yeah, hello, hi. Assalamualaikum. A very good evening, everyone. I'm sorry for my voice, yeah. I have been told that actually per student, per presenter, there will be only one question to be asked by the assessor. Thank you.
Okey, masa 5 minit untuk sesi soal jawab telah tamat. Terima kasih atas pembentangan itu tadi. Seterusnya, saya mempersilakan pembentangan kedua iaitu Dr. Kumaran Gangadharan daripada IPG Kampus Sultan Abdul Halim dengan tajuk pembentangan beliau Assessing the Knowledge and Preparedness of IPGM KSAH Student in Developing Their Characters through the Bina Insan Guru BIG program. Dipersilakan.
Distinguished jury, respected colleagues, and fellow educators, a very good morning. My name is Dr. Kumaran Gangadharan from JPPI IPGM KSA. Let me begin with a simple reflection. If we fail to shape our character of our future teacher, then who will shape the character of our children? This is a very important question that inspired my research, which is assessing the knowledge and preparedness of IPGM KSA students in developing their character through Bina Insan Guru BIG program. Today, allow me to take you all dive into my research journey. Let's begin. Character building is not a luxury in teaching education, but it is the foundation. The BIG program exists to transform our students into holistic and value-driven educators. But here lies the critical issues. Are our students truly prepared, and do they fully understand what is the BIG program intent? So my study answered this question by exploring two dimensions, which is knowledge and preparedness regarding BIG objective and component, which is mainly to develop their character. Ladies and gentlemen, character education is urgent amid like cyberbullying and ethical dilemmas. BIG, aligned with the national education philosophy, develop teachers who are academically competent and morally up to the standard. This frames our inquiry into what students know about BIG and how ready they are to live it. Now, let's look at the study's problem statement. Despite BIG is a noble mission, research tells us something worrying, which is commitment among the pre-service teachers remain moderate. Many students participate, but only participation without understanding is mere compliance. Without clarity of the BIG framework and without the real readiness, BIG risks become a symbolic rather than the transformational. That was the problem of my study sought to address. Everyone, at this point, let us be very clear about what guided our study. We have 3 research objectives and 3 research questions. We aim to assess students' knowledge on BIG aim and pedagogy, exam preparedness on emotional, cognitive, and behavioral, and test the knowledge and preparedness link. The key question, what are the level of knowledge and preparedness, and just greater knowledge predict the greater readiness? Our conceptual framework treats knowledge and preparedness as independent variables influencing character development. In other words, knowledge plus readiness is equal to value-driven teachers. The significance of this study is to benefit institutions by refining curriculums, policymakers by aligning BIG with the education blueprint, and the teachers by strengthening links between knowledge, readiness, and self-efficacy. There is 3 operational definitions in this study. To be clear, knowledge means knowing BIG objective and pedagogy, where preparedness means readiness of the heart, mind, and action, and character development means the holistic outcome, which is ethics, value, resilience, and these are the very ingredients of a future teacher's identification. I used Bandura social cognitive theory as a theoretical foundation for these studies, which highlight that the learning happens not only through instruction, but also through the observation, reflection, and real practice, which become the essence of the BIG program. Now, let us look at the previous studies on the BIG program. Prior works shows that BIG foster discipline, spirituality, and resilience across contents. However, the mechanism is underexplored. Our contribution is testing whether knowledge of the BIG is associated with the preparedness, providing an evidence-based lever for the program improvement. Let me now explain the methodology that underpin this study. For the study design, I use quantitative survey approach which allowed me to gather standardized data and generate measurable insights for improving the BIG program. The population consists of 316 second-year PISMP students, and using Kirchie and Morgan table, a representative sample of 171 respondents was selected, ensuring a 95% of confidence level with only a 5% margin of error. This makes my findings statistically robust and reflectively of the wider students' population. Now, allow me to introduce the research instrument that I use to collect the data. I use 20 items structured questionnaire with 2 dimensions, which is knowledge, 10 items, and preparedness, 10 items. The response was measured on 5-point Likert scale, and tool was provided in English and Malay for accessibility. For validity, I used 3 experts reviewed the content, while the language expert confirmed the accuracy through forward and backward translation. This rigorous process ensured that the instrument I used in both was reliable and meaningful to address the research question. Before administering the full survey, I conducted a pilot study to ensure the reliability of this instrument. I used 30 students to confirm the reliability, where the knowledge got 0.85 and 0.89 for the preparedness. The pilot study results exceeds the benchmark suggested by Nunley and Burston 1994, and these gave me a very high confidence to proceed with the full study. Moving to the data collection process, first and foremost, ethical clearances was obtained. Participation was voluntary and confidential. The survey was distributed via Google Form, which ensured efficient distribution and accurate recording of response. After collecting the data, it has been analyzed via reliability checks using Alpha Cromba, descriptive statistics to classify knowledge and preparedness as low, moderate, and high, and Pearson correlation to test the relationship between 2 components with inferencing analysis. So, all the analyses were done using SPSS version 28. Let me first present the findings on knowledge levels. Students' overall knowledge on BIG was high, which is mean 3.98. About 76% scored high, 21.6% moderate, and only 2.3% are low. These trends include understanding BIG role for diverse learners, appreciating its significance, and confidence in critical analysis. Next, let us look at the findings on preparedness level. Overall, the students have demonstrated very high level of preparedness across all dimensions. The strongest area were in growth orientation, peer support, and collaboration, showing that our training teachers are open to improvement, work well with others, and are ready to support one another. Meanwhile, dimensions like time management, general equity, and especially strength management scored slightly lower through still within the higher ed category. This tells us that something very important. While our students are motivated and collaborative, they may still need some additional support in managing the time and their stress effectively, where these skills are very essential for them as a future teachers. Finally, let us examine the relationship between the knowledge and the preparedness. Correlation showed that a very strong positive relationship where the R value is 0.806 and the P value is less than 0.001. So simply puts, the more students know about the BIG, the more prepared they are to engage in it. Ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude by summarizing the essence of this study. Student shows that high knowledge and preparedness with strong positive correlation, which is knowledge-driven readiness. A recommendation is clarify BIG pedagogical framework which deliver a structural orientation and embed the reliance time management support where it's aligned the activity with the national education philosophy, and BIG remain transformational platform where it's turning competent trainees into a value driven educators. Thank you. That's all from me, Dr. Kumaran. Bye.
A very good day to the panel. The topic of my study is tip strategy to correct common grammar errors among sixth formers in a Malaysian Chinese school. Writing.
Terima kasih diucapkan kepada pembentang kedua. Sekarang kita teruskan dengan sesi soal jawab. Dipersilakan.
Okay, hello, hi. Is it okay, Prof? I will ask a question. All right. Okay, Dr. Kumaran, right? All right. Thank you very much for a very, I think,
Exactly.
can you hear my voice?
Yeah. Can you hear what?
Sorry, can you hear my voice clearly? Yeah, okay, all right. I'm just going to post my question here, right? So, all right. So based on I was looking at your recommendation just now because you were reading on the words, right? Can you elaborate a bit more on one of the recommendations was to prepare a more structured orientation on program components. So can you share with us a bit more on that? Thank you. I hope my question was clear, is it? Yeah, all right, thank you.
Okey, terima kasih atas pembentangan itu tadi. Seterusnya, saya mempersilakan pembentang ketiga iaitu Dr. Morganeshwari Kandasamy daripada IPG Campus Tuanku Bainul dengan tajuk pembentangan beliau Developing ESL Learners Reading Mastery Through the Digital Literacy. Dipersilakan.
Good day to all. I am Morganeshwari Kandasamy. Will be presenting a research titled Developing ESL Learners Reading Mastery Through Digital Literacy. As we all know, reading literacy is paramount to primary school pupils, especially in English language. The Malaysia's PISA results for 2022 reveal a troubling trend with notable decline in the country's educational performance. With an overall score of 1,213 points, the assessments highlighted significant weaknesses across key subject areas such as maths, which scored 409 points, science registered at 416 points, and reading fell to 388 points. This reading score represents a steep decrease of 27 points from the previous 2018 figure of 415. Alarmingly, less than 50% of the students achieved the minimum proficiency threshold, which is classified as level 2 in reading skills. This decline underscores the urgent challenge Malaysia's education system is facing and raises a concern about the future of academic readiness of students. In the rapidly evolving education landscape, digital literacy has emerged as a pivotal tool for enhancing learning outcomes, particularly in primary school pupils' reading skills. By leveraging digital technologies, educators can engage young minds more effectively, making the learning process enjoyable and interactive. One innovative approach in this domain involves digitalization of stories, transforming traditional narratives into immersive digital experience which aids pupils' reading skills. This initiative equips students with essential digital literacy skills, preparing them for success and increasingly digital world. Studies have shown that ESL primary learners enjoy digital reading because it is useful, engaging, despite the challenges like limited access to technology in some schools. The THUMB framework helps educators design effective literacy programs by ensuring technology is accessible to all. The research aims to investigate how Malaysian ESL learners develop reading mastery through digital literacy tools. The following are the literature review. Digital literacy has emerged as critical skill for language acquisition, which enables learners to navigate digital environments effectively. It also highlights the effectiveness of digital platforms in improving reading proficiency among ESL learners. In fact, gamification in digital literacy has been widely for ESL education. And Win and Todd discussed that how digital games can scaffold language acquisition by integrating real-world linguistic context. Research also showed that AI-powered adaptive learning platform instruction based on learners' proficiency levels and facilitating in its mastery. The following is the theoretical framework. The theoretical framework used in this research is the technology acceptance model, which is widely used framework that helps explain how people adopt and use technology. It is developed by Davis and it is based on the idea of two key factors which influence a person's decision to use new technology. The perceived ease of use is that if a technology is easy to use, people are more likely to adopt it. And as for perceived usefulness, if a technology improves proficiency or effectiveness, users are more inclined to accept it. As for the research methodology, the research design employed in this research is a mixed method approach. The sample includes year for 30 ESL learners from a semi-urban school in the district of Kulim, together with one English language educator. The sampling technique used is purposive sampling. The instruments involved were questionnaire, observation, semi-structured interview protocol. The data collection method consists of survey, observation, and interview session, and the data analysis method is descriptive and thematic analysis. Looking at thematic analysis, it has 6 processes. Firstly, getting oneself familiarized with the data, generate initial code, search for themes, review the potential themes, define and name themes, and finally produce the report. Following are the findings and discussion. The data clearly indicates that there are more keen in using digital associated materials as compared to non-digital ones among these respondents. The number of on-screen hours using the computer is 30% and mobile phone is 60%, are higher percentages as compared to television and others which are 10%. This indicates that respondents are very much inclined to use digitalized reading resources. The high usage of mobile phones and computers indicate that ESL learners are immersed in digital environments, and the implementation of the Smart Literacy Program has served as an innovative intervention aimed at enhancing the participants' literacy skill. Throughout the study, the teacher reported that the pupils were initially overwhelmed by the new approach but quickly became engaged with the interactive and dynamic elements of the Smart Literacy Framework. The following are the findings and discussions from the observation as well as the interview sessions. There are 3 themes that emerged, which is theme 1, initial reading apathy, where people showed low motivation, hesitation, and lack of engagement with print-based reading materials. The descriptions like I would wander aimlessly, lingering before bookshelves, reflect passive reading behavior and limited intrinsic motivation. As for theme 2, it is on impact of the Smart Literacy Program. The introduction of digital tools, especially pronunciation support and interactive content, has led to a marked shift in students' attitudes. The respondents began to read independently with increased enthusiasm and curiosity. And as for theme 3, it is the teacher's emotional response and observations. Participants are expressed gratitude, hope, and inspiration, noting observable improvements in motivation and reading habits. which highlighted the emergence of critical thinking, creativity, and lifelong learning dispositions among her pupils, which is a positive attribute. The transformation described by participant R aligns with the existing research on the role of digital literacy in ESL context. The digital tools that scaffold reading, such as pronunciation, guides, gamified interactive text, and significantly boosted the learner's motivation and engagement. The following are the recommendations of this research. Given the dominance of mobile and computer usage, educators should integrate digital reading tasks into the curriculum. Students must be taught digital navigation skills, including skimming, scanning, and evaluating sources. Continuous encouragement of reflective reading practices using digital annotation tools or discussion forums must be enhanced. This does not only align with the learners, but it also fosters the 21st century skills in using and upcoming PI results. Finally, the conclusion, the application-based digital resources show that the majority of participants were able to enhance literacy outcomes as it was well designed, target specific skills, and involve active engagement from both students and educators. The effectiveness depends on the quality of the application, the context of the use, and the developmental stage of the learners. Future research is needed to optimize the design and implementation across diverse educational settings for more progressive output. The following are the references that have been used during this research. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Terima kasih diucapkan kepada pembentang ketiga. Sekarang kita teruskan dengan sesi soal jawab. Dipersilakan.
Alright, Dr. Morganashwari. Right. Right, Dr. Morganashwari. I'm so sorry about that one. A very good project. Right. I have two questions. I'm just curious. The first question will be, why one participant, if you could justify it? Why one language educator? I remember when I was jotting down there, why one language educator? Yes, lecturer.
Good afternoon, Prof. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. The reason why only one educator was involved in this research is that because there was only 2 English language educators in this school. Second, the one that I have used is only for the upper primary level. That is the reason only one educator was used in this research.
Okay. Right. The second question, but still, I'm curious. Okay, how would you adapt the finding in, let's say, in limited in educational context with limited access to technology?
Prof, if you look currently, our Ministry of Education has been implementing ICT in almost all schools. However, the internet connections that we are having now is still rather bad, I would say. But what I could see is that teachers have utilized their own internet connection despite having issues in their school. So I think it does work, but our team is also trying to optimize the design and also the implementation of this particular project so it will go across diverse educational settings and not only in this particular school that we have actually done.
All right, I think that's all. Right, good luck for other projects. Right, my advice will always be go and publish your paper. People need to read the finding and so on. Right, good job, well done.
Thank you very much, Prof.
Yes, I think that Dr. Kumaran.
Okay, all right. So, Dr. Kumaran, yeah, I asked you a question just now regarding about your study. Congratulations, by the way, it was a good one. I'm interested to know more about your study. So, what my question is, one of the recommendations that you mentioned just now was to prepare a more structured orientation on the program components. So, can you elaborate a bit more on that? Thank you.
Terima kasih atas pembentangan itu tadi. Untuk makluman para hadirin sekalian, disebabkan masalah teknikal sebentar tadi, maka kita akan teruskan sesi soal jawab dengan pembentang kedua. Dipersilakan.
Hi, Doctor. A very good evening. So I hope you can hear my voice clearly. Can you hear my voice, Doctor?
Yes, please go on.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, the recommendation which I told or written in the recommendation, disebabkan saya ni jurulatih co-curriculum sebelum menjadi pensyarah akademik. So saya telah melalui pelbagai BIG dan saya merasakan bahawa BIG ni, although we are bringing like them to the camp and we are giving them training how to survive and so on, but they are still lacking of some kind of component which is kemahiran insania, or we can say as more survival skills. Yang 5 hari atau 4 hari yang kita memberikan mereka latihan di BIG ni tidak sebegitulah penuh, ataupun yang macam time factor is not that enough, which I felt perlu memanjangkan lagi BIG ni at least a week, seminggu 7 hari ataupun 2 siri untuk setiap batch, agar mereka dapat didedahkan dengan pelbagai lagi komponen survival skills untuk menjadikan diri mereka tu lebih mempunyai kemahiran insania dan seseorang pendidik yang boleh mempunyai karakter yang boleh survive di dunia, yang mempunyai pendidik-pendidik yang memang berwatai-watai. And then mereka juga perlukan komponen-komponen seperti now we having like a life skill like water confidence and so on. But water confidence dengan kayaking saja tu tidaklah cukup untuk seseorang pendidik yang perlu mengajar akuatik dan sebagainya. Jika dia tu PG optionist, and then dia akan dapat semua kemahiran tersebut. Jika dia bukan PG optionist, maka ianya adalah satu perkara yang agak susah jika tidak mempunyai satu inisiatif yang sendiri untuk belajar berenang dan sebagainya. So, what I'm trying to say, kita perlu memasukkan komponen-komponen seperti berenang lagi dalam BIG, and then how to survive in the darkness. So kalau membawa budak sebagai jurulatih dan sebagainya. So itulah yang saya cuba cakapkan, cuba menyelitkan dalam recommendation saya, dalam perlu menyelitkan sebagai komponen-komponen BIG yang perlu memanjangkan lagi tempo BIG dan juga komponen-komponen survival skills untuk menjadikan pelajar kita ataupun pendidik yang bakal menjadi guru tu dengan mempunyai segala kemahiran insania. Terima kasih, Doktor.
Alright, thank you very much. I think it's very clear. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Okey, terima kasih atas pembentangan. Terima kasih atas pembentangan itu tadi. Seterusnya, saya mempersilakan pembentang keempat, iaitu Puan Nurwirti. Maafkan saya, mempersilakan Nurwirti Nagiha binti Hamdan daripada Sekolah Kebangsaan Ringit dengan tajuk pembentangan beliau Enhancing Year 6 Writing Skill Through the Integration of Artificial Intelligence AI Tools. Dipersilakan.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurwirti Nagiha binti Hamdan from SK Ringit. Today, I would like to share my humble essay research entitled Enhancing Year 6 Writing Skills Through the Integration of Artificial Intelligence AI Tools.
In this presentation, I will talk about this aspect as shown on your screen.
Nowadays, artificial intelligence or AI is widely and commonly used on a daily basis, and our education system also get a kickback effect from it. Based on Al-Maki and Williams 2022, they said that the integration of AI in education is transforming traditional teaching methods and creating new opportunities to improve the current aspect of learning particularly in English as a second language, ESL. This also supported by Chen in 2023 in his study, which highlight that prior studies have indicated that learners generally respond positively towards AI tools, often viewing them as supportive companion in their learning journey. And last but not least, writing is often seen as one of the most difficult language skills for ESL learners to master. The problem statement of this research is I found out that most of my students are not proficient in writing skills. Maimura in 2020 found out that ESL learners have difficulties to write in English due to issues such as lack of vocabulary, poor grammar, and limited practice in writing. This supported by the study by Smith in 2024, which investigated the use of AI tools such as ChatGPT to provide formative feedback for ESL learners and reveal notable improvement in students' writing proficiency and grammatical accuracy. Hereby, this research aims to investigate how AI tools can enhance the writing skills of Year 6 students, addressing the gaps that I have observed in my past teaching experience and offering a new adaptations for both my students and also in my teaching strategies. There are two research objectives highlighted in this research. The first one is to assess the effectiveness of AI tool in improving the writing proficiency among Year 6 students. And the second one is to explore the impact of AI tool on motivation and engagement of Year 6 students in their English writing tasks. Next, this research intends to seek the answer for this research question. The first one is, how does the integration of AI tool impact the writing proficiency of Year 6 students? And the second one is, what effect does the use of AI tool have on the motivation and interest of Year 6 students in engaging with English writing tasks? Next is for the research model. I choose Chemist and My Target 1998 as a research model because I believe this model is the best one and the most suitable one for my research. Based on the research model of Chemist and My Target, I have implemented in my procedure of action. The first stage is the planning stage. In this stage, I introduced the AI tool, which are Gemini AI and ChatGPT to the participants, and also explaining how to use them effectively during the writing activities. Next, the second stage, which is the acting stage. Here, the participant actively use the AI tool in their writing tasks during English lesson. And I, as a teacher, facilitated their process. And the third observing stage. In this stage, the collection of data to evaluate the impact of the intervention. Pre and post test, and recorded a semi-structured interview session with the participant. And last but not least, the reflecting stage. In this stage, I analyzed the data gathered to assess the overall effectiveness of the interventions. And then I justify the relevance of the intervention and propose suggestion for further research. Next, we move on into the methodology. In this research, I use mixed method research design, which combine both quantitative and qualitative data gathering method. And the research participants is the Year 6 students from SK Rengit. So the instrument that I choose is pre and post test, and also the semi-structured interview for 5 students. By using both a quantitative and qualitative data, next I will use the data triangulations in order to ensure the validity of the finding. Now, let's take a look into the research finding. First is the pre and post test. So from the pre and post test score, I have identified that the participants have improved in their writing proficiency. We can see that in the 44.5 increase in the post test score. Other than that, we also can see the development in their grammar and sentence construction. This is because the participants have shown a great development in reduction in grammatical errors. Last but not least, the participant also showed a great improvement in vocabulary usage, and coherence. This is because the participants were able to write better in organizations and logical flow of ideas. These are the example of participants writing in the pre and post. Next, let's move on into the analysis of the semi-structured interview. Here, I use Brown and Clark technical analysis in order to identify the themes from the transcript of the interview. So in order to answer the research question number 1, the first theme identified is effectiveness of AI feedback. So here the participant agreed that the AI tool help them to find mistakes or error in punctuation and wrong choices. And also the AI tool also help them to understand grammar better. This is because for them grammar is hard and AI tool make it the writing easier. Next, moving on to research question number 2. The theme identified here is increased motivation and engagement. Here, the participants said AI tools making the writing task is more fun and easier. It is because AI tool help them to make it more interesting to learn and practice writing. AI tool is also like a teacher and friend to help them whenever they got problem in writing tasks. Last but not least, the last theme is the challenges in using AI tool. The participant identified that the challenges by using AI tool is because sometimes they get confused because there are too many answers to choose from. Other than that, the technical issues such as strong internet connections. Last but not least, they also need help from the teachers in order to explain it in a more simpler way. From the research finding, we can discuss that first one is the impact on the writing proficiency. This as a research found that the AI tool helps students identify and correct grammatical errors and expand their vocabulary, contributing to the improved writing quality. And the second one is the increased motivation and engagement. The immediate feedback and interactive nature of AI tool likely contributed to this increase in motivation as students feel supported in their learning process. And last but not least, the challenges and area for improvement. The students face challenges in using AI tool, including difficulty understanding complex vocabulary, confusion from multiple responses, technical issues like the internet connections, and the need for teacher supports in order to understand it in a better and simpler way. Next, moving on to the research implications. AI tool have a positive impact on writing proficiency. So educators or teachers should integrate them in teaching pedagogy. AI also provide personalized and real-time feedback, which helps to address individual students' needs more effectively. Next, AI also support targeted instruction in order to improve writing skills. AI also increases students' motivation. This is because it creates a more engaging and dynamic learning environment. Teachers also must guide students in order to understanding and applying AI feedback more properly. And last but not least, additional clarification and support may be needed for the students in order to use AI feedback effectively in their lessons. We have arrived to the conclusions. Here, from my research, I can conclude that the positive role of AI in supporting writing development among Year 6 students. AI not only improves accuracy by giving immediate feedback, but also increase students' interest and motivation in learning to write. However, some challenges remain, such as difficulty of understanding complex feedback and the needs for stable internet access. Therefore, teacher guidance is essential to help students make full use of AI feedback effectively. Overall, with the right support, AI tool can be a valuable aid in creating more engaging and effective writing lessons. These are my references in preparing this presentation. That's all for me. Thank you. That's all.
Terima kasih diucapkan kepada pembentang keempat. Sekarang kita teruskan dengan sesi soal jawab. Dipersilakan.
Okay, hello. All right. Teacher, sorry, how should I call you? Yeah, your name, so that I don't mispronounce your name.
You can just call me Najiha for short. The
Okay,
last
Najiha, yeah.
yeah.
All right, Najiha. All right, Najiha, thank you very much for your presentation. So you are doing on, because you have two presentations, right? Am I right?
Yes, both are essay
Yeah,
research.
yeah, excellent research. So you're using Gemini AI and also ChatGPT in order to improve your students' writing skill. Am I right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, all right. So you have mentioned just now during the planning stage, you said that the teacher explained how to use the tools effectively. So I am just wondering, because they are working with AI tools, how do you work with your students in terms of prompting, in order for them to be assessed? All right, that would be my question. Thank you.
Thank you for the questions. Okay, as I stated in my essay research, this is the primary school students, and I also live at the suburban area, kampung area lah. So the students are not familiar with AI, especially ChatGPT and Gemini. So as a teacher myself, I need to teach my students how to write proper prompt. In order to get the proper feedback from the AI. So I use like sentence frame. I teach them one by one how to type it on the ChatGPT, how to access the ChatGPT from the Lima platform. Same goes as the Gemini AI. So after they learn how to write the prompt, then I teach them how to understand and analyze the feedback. Because when we use ChatGPT, for example, there are many type of response that they give. Okay, they give the correct answer, and then they give why the explanations. For the young learners, primary school, they might get confused with with the explanations. So as a teacher, first I introduce the sentence structure of the prompt, and then they write it on the chat GPT, and then I teach them how to analyze and understanding the AI feedback given.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Najia. I think you have done a very good initiative, like exposing them to these AI tools. I'm so happy with that, especially for the primary kids. All right. Good job again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Terima kasih atas pembentangan itu tadi. Seterusnya, saya mempersilakan pembentang kelima iaitu Nur Wirdati Nagiha binti Hamdan daripada Sekolah Kebangsaan Ringit dengan tajuk pembentangan beliau The Usage of Game-Based Learning in Constructing Simple Sentences, Subject, Verb, Object among Year 3 Pupils. Dipersilakan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, I am Nuriati Najiha binti Hamdan from SK Regit Batu Pahat Johor. Today I want to share with you guys my essay research, the usage of game-based learning in constructing simple sentences, subject verb object among Year 3 pupils.
These are the agenda for my presentation today, as you can see on your screen. First of all, I will start with introduction. The main focus of this research is writing, which is defined as a critically essential skill in teaching and learning of English as a second language, ESL. Writing simple sentences among primary school pupils is indeed important because it will directly affect their other language skills and ability. With considerations of pupils' learning tendencies and interests, and also proficiency level, my innovation called as Mr. Captrain is created to not just helping the pupils' writing skill, but also provide them with a fun and conducive learning environment.
In this research, I have identified some of the problem statements The first one is participants were unable to construct simple sentences SVO correctly because they cannot classify what is subject, verb, and object according to the correct group. The second problem or issue in this research is participants have limited of vocabulary range. Next, participants were less motivated in learning English because they think English is very boring subject. Last but not least, the learning environment itself does not interest the pupils to learn and explore English. The research objectives in this research are to find out the effectiveness of using Mr. Captrain in constructing simple sentences SVO, and also to find out the effectiveness of using Mr. Captrain as a teaching tool and how it attracts pupil interest in learning English. Meanwhile, the research questions are: how is the use of Mr. Captrain effective in helping the pupils to construct simple sentences SVO, and also how is the use of Mr. Captrain as a teaching tool in motivating pupils to learn English.
In this research, I applied two conceptual frameworks. The first one is Leaf-Vygotsky's scaffolding theory, and the second one is Allen by Wolf dual coding theory. In this research, I implemented the research model of Chemist and McTaggart 1998 as a research model. Based on the essay research model of Chemist and McTaggart, here is the procedure of action. The first step is plan. In this stage, teacher introduced Mr. Captrain to the participant. And the second stage is act. Here, teacher conducted the interventions. The third stage is observe stage. Here, teacher collected relevant data by using instrument of data gathering method chosen. And the last stage is reflect. In this stage, teacher suggested improvement for the intervention.
This is the intervention that I use in this research, which is Mr. Captrain. As you can see here, Mr. Captrain has three different compartments in it, which indicate the subject, verb, and object according to different colors in it. The yellow part indicates for subject, the red part indicates for verb, and the last one, the green part, indicates for object. As you can see here, instead of this Mr. Captrain, there are also very different parts in it, which indicates the students to choose the correct words in the correct category.
The research participants for this research are 5 pupils from Year 3 30 class. With purposive sampling, 3 participants with average proficiency and 2 participants with low proficiency in English. For the methodology, I use mixed method research design that combine both quantitative and qualitative methodology. The first one is pre and post test, the second one is observation, and the third one is semi-structured interview.
The first one is the pre and post test. Here is proven that by using this intervention of Mr. Captrain, all the participants are showing a great progress and increment between their pre and the post test. Next, through the observations, I have identified the pupils are giving active interactions, and also the pupils able to identify the correct subject, verb, object, and also which enables them to construct simple sentences correctly. Lastly, in the interview sessions, the participants state that by using Mr. Captrain, it is easier to construct simple sentences because it has colors, parts, and also interactive picture. Other than that, it also attracts their interest to learn because it has interesting shapes and also different colors in it. The findings from this research is Mr. Captrain is effective because it shows the improvement of pupils to construct simple sentences SVO correctly throughout the 4 weeks of implementations, and pupils will enjoy and motivated to learn English in the classroom. Hereby, I can conclude that the finding of this research shows the effectiveness of using Mr. Captrain in constructing simple sentences, subject, verb, object, and at the same time, it also promotes fun learning environment that enhance pupils' motivations towards learning English language among the pupils. Suggestion for further research is to integrate of ICT elements such as online dictionary, music, and lights to make Mr. Captrain more attractive and fun to use. And lastly, larger sample size to increase statistical power. That's all from me. Thank you for your attention. Hi, Assalamualaikum.
Okey, terima kasih diucapkan kepada pembentang kelima. Kita teruskan dengan sesi soal jawab. Dipersilakan.
Alright, Miss Najihah. Right, okay. How long have you been teaching?
9 years.
Okay, that's good. Right, so it's very interesting. So I just want to ask something, right? Okay, let's say for example, how do educators make sure that the objective will be the learning is the objective, not the game aspect. So the game aspect doesn't remain a distraction. Sometimes when we play games in the class, sometimes the students are focused on the games, not learning. How do you navigate between these two?
Okay, as a teacher, I will set a class rules first before implementing or applying the games. For example, before we start the interventions or the games itself, I will tell my students to sit properly, and then I will set the rules. For example, no chatting other than what we are playing right now or what we are learning right now. And surprisingly, although my students are orang asli people, I teach in sekolah orang asli, but my students are very active ones. But in my lessons during these game implementations, they are very concentrate and focused because this is something brand new for them. So small kids, when they see something new, they very get so attracted and so involved with it. And then I believe the classroom rules must be enhanced and focused on before we applying the games.
Right. Now, Jihan, another one, I'm a little bit curious. Why don't I see your videos moving? It's not just audio. I mean, I don't see you presenting live on the video.
Oh, inside the video, inside the YouTube video. I actually didn't know that we need to put our face. So I only recorded my own voice only. So sorry about that, Doctor.
Don't worry, I'm just asking. Okay, good job. Okay, thank you.
Terima kasih atas pembentangan itu tadi. Seterusnya, saya mempersilakan pembentangan ke-6 iaitu Go Kok Ming daripada SJKC Wan Lian 1 dengan tajuk pembentangan beliau The Level of Digital Leadership Among Middle Leaders in School. Dipersilakan.
Hi everyone, today I would like to present research papers on teachers' perceptions of middle leadership, digital leadership in school. My name is Go Kok Ming. I'm from SJKC Hualien 1. So a little bit introductions to my research. Digital transformation reshaped teaching, learning, and also leadership. Middle leaders act as change agents reaching top leadership and teachers. So it is digital transformations and digital leaderships aligned with Malaysian Digital Education Blueprint, that is 2021 until 2025. And the focus is how we can enhance digital leadership, especially for the media leaders for school transformations. Apart from that, let us know about a little bit background of this research paper. Rapid digitalization demands competence leadership in schools. Media leaders do play a pivotal role in supporting teachers, driving digital initiative, and also improving instructional quality. However, the gaps exist between the policy expectations and also school practices. As a problem statement, uneven competency in the media leaders' digital leaderships happens. That is, we can look from the strengths, we can empower of the professional learnings, and however, and also the weaknesses, assessments, and feedback. However, although we know about the importance of the role of media leaders' digital leadership in the school, especially for the digital transformations, it is lack of empirical research on teachers' perceptions, and it also need for the targeted leadership development programs. So for the research objective, this paper wished to examine the level of digital leaderships among media leaders. It measures the level across 4 dimensions, that is support and empowerment, professional learning, strategic versions, and also assessment feedback. So for the research question, so what is the overall levels of digital leadership among the media leaders in northern region of Perak? So for the significance of studies, schools, schools based on the empirical finding of this study, we can know about how to improve the media leaders' strategies. And for the policymakers, we can inform them how or formulate the professional development frameworks. Teachers, we can enhance training and also support. For the researchers, we can contribute to the digital leadership literature. So for the operational definitions, digital leaderships is a leadership that guide technology integration effectively, and media leaders is defined as the head of departments, senior teachers, or coordinators. For the professional learning, it defined as the digital trainings and also skill enhancement. However, for the assessment and feedback, it is defined as evaluating how to improve the digital teaching practices. So a little bit about the literature reviews. In a global context, digital leaders fosters innovations and student engagements. In Malaysian context, it's driven by the Malaysian Digital Education Blueprint, that's 2021 until 2025. So in here, in this study, we used a few key theories that is distribute leaderships, transformational leaderships. And however, based on the literature review, we have identified a few gaps. There is limited focus on media leaders, digital competency, and its digital leaderships. So as the methodology, in this paper, the research design is quantitative using the descriptive surveys design. For the approach, we use a systematic measurements of teacher perceptions based through the survey. And to analyze the data, we use SPSS version 26 for the further analysis. For the sampling purpose, the participants involved in this study consists of 206 teachers for the northern zone of Malaysia. And for the sampling technique, it used multi-stage random sampling technique, and it represents the primary, secondary, and cluster. So for the research instruments, the questions are adapted from the established frameworks. 4 dimensions are identified. support professional learning, strategic versions, and also assessment. In these questionnaires, it use 10-point Likert skills. 1 is strongly disagree, and 10 is stand for strongly agree. For the reliability of these questionnaires, the contra alphas has been done is 0.91. It's considered very excellent. Furthermore, we have conducted a pilot study conducted with 30 teachers outside the main samples to ensure the clarity and relevance and usability of these questionnaires, and the results show the positive excellence, reliability, and validity. So after the pilot test, we have done the field collections. Okay, so for the data collection and analysis, one with distributions, we dispute 2 ways that's using the hard copy and also online questionnaires. And then we also get concerned voluntary participations with confidentiality from the participations. And also number 3, after we collect all data, we have to clear the data, and then we conducted the further analysis using the SPSS version 26 by using the mean, standard deviations, and also the other descriptive statistics. So as a findings, overall digital leaderships can be considered moderate with a mean 5.77 and with a standard deviation that is 1.12. And across the 4 dimensions, it identified that support and empowerment consider the highest dimensions with medians 5.87. However, the lowest is the assessment and feedback with the medians 5.49. So it suggests that strengths in support, but there's a gaps in systematic evaluations conducted by the teachers and also the school. So as a conclusions, middle leaders are pivotal to digital transformations. The strength of this leadership is empowerment and professional learning. However, the weaknesses is the assessment and feedback, and it suggested that we need to do more professional development trainings on how middle leaders can assess and assess themselves and give proper feedback to enhance their professional development. And for the recommendations, strengthen the data-driven evaluations, provide targeted leadership trainings, and also integrate feedback in the PLC, that is professional learning committees.
Terima kasih diucapkan kepada pembentang ke-6. Kita teruskan dengan sesi soal jawab. Dipersilakan. Okey, untuk makluman para hadirin sekalian, disebabkan masalah teknikal, kita akan menunggu sebentar sehingga panel penilai akan masuk semula. Harap maklum.
All right. Mr. Go, I'm so sorry for you to wait. All right. Okay.
It's okay, Prof.
Right. Yes. Okay. A very interesting one. So it's very interesting. Good job. All right. So I'm just asking about this one. All right. So that will be one question. So let's say, for example, what would you say if you could say to the past you before you did the research, right? If you could meet yourself, what would you say? Right? What would you advise? What not to do? I'm sure that because you conducted the research and so on, you found out some mistakes, right? So what was the most challenging thing that you get when you're doing the research? What is the most challenging problem, perhaps, pressing issue?
Okay, the most boring. Thank you for asking the question, Prof. The most challenging. Actually, there's many challenging tasks that was there, but the most challenging for me in terms of when I conducting this research is how to approach the sample, especially the samplings, because we need to conduct once we get the approvals from the authorities, from the state education departments and everything. So I need to went to most of the schools to approach them, to let them convince them to answer the questionnaires frankly. This is the most challenging for me, to how to make sure they answering it frankly and not just putting the 55555 or 777 like that. So this is the most challenging for me to convince them there is no right and wrongs, but I do need your genuine responses to them. So for me, the most challenging word is how to approach them. Yeah, Prof.
How to push them, how to persuade them. Right, another one, just a bonus one.
Yes.
Right. So what do you think?
Okay,
what
sorry.
what would be the most pressing issue that prevent middle leaders from developing their digital leadership skills?
Pardon, Prof.
Okay.
Could you repeat the question again, because I couldn't listen.
All right. From your observation, from the finding, what do you think? What prevent these middle leaders from developing their digital leadership skills?
Sorry, I missed out the first part because it's like putus-putus somehow.
Okay, okay. So, what prevents most middle leaders from developing their digital leadership skills?
What
prevent? What hinder them?
Making them the factors.
Okay. Yes, the factor. Just give me the most pressing factor.
The most important factors for them is mostly the middle leadership is mainly their thoughts of like using a lot of digital tools in one class. For example, middle leaders, I pointed to the ketua panitia and then the PKs. For them, when it comes to digital leaderships, they would like to say in the classrooms, I need to use all the digital tools 100%, which is not so important, because of like in one class, especially for the middle leader ketua panitia, they can show that actually the pedagogy comes first, and then they're using the digital tools. In terms of that, they also can show their digital leaders, their skills at the digital leadership. Without like, for example, because after I conducting these surveys, I interviews a short interview with some middle leaders. Most of them are saying that okay, when it comes to digital leaders, I have to master all the digital tools, which is no, which is wrong. Yes. They can just master one of two very deeply, how to use it in the pedagogical ways, in terms of how to engage the student. But rather than they are just master all the things, and then I just like put all the things in one sessions. For example, they will study one of the leaders shared with me. They perceive that I should use Kahoot, I should use
smart board. I should use LCD, and then my presentation slide should be very interesting, which is not, which is not. We should put the pedagogy come first. So that is the middle digital leadership. In terms of they show that they are the teacher, they are the leaders, they are the teachers, but they still can convince that they use a simple digital tool but achieve the high impact of teaching and learning.
All right, thank you, Mr. Go. You're very passionate about digital leadership. Thank you very much. All right, well done. All right. Yes,
thank you, Prof.
Mr. Moderator, we are done.
Thank you.
Terima kasih atas pembentangan itu tadi. Terima kasih atas pembentangan yang menarik dan berinformasi. Tahniah dan syabas diucapkan kepada barisan pembentang yang telah membentangkan penyelidikan sebentar tadi. Hadirin yang dihormati, dengan ini maka berakhirlah pembentangan kertas penyelidikan dalam persidangan pedagogi dan pendidikan guru PedaTEd 2025 Zon Utara bagi slot ini. Sekian, terima kasih.